nobody has any experience in it. I've been in politics since 1978. I helped Carter get in office, I helped Clinton, and I also left the party after Clinton because of miscellaneous things that went on, and I went over to the Republican Party. And then I came back here after my cancer in 2010 for one specific reason, empathy. And we have to balance the budget and have empathy, and we need to get rid of these. We have to have term limits, and we need to be aware of what's going on in our businesses, and bring Maryland back, not only Maryland, but America. Maryland's had a black eye for the past couple of years of things going on around us that we have no control over. So we need to bring it back, and the only way we're going to do it is bring somebody in. I'm a businessman. I've been in business for 30 years.
So before we proceed, I want to acknowledge Councilman Pete Smith in the back. All right, so here we go. One of the responsibilities of the U.S. Senate is to advise and consent on the President's choice of a Supreme Court justice. In the wake of Antonin Scalia's death, Republican leadership has so far refused to even consider allowing a hearing in the Judiciary Committee. This despite the fact that there are some significant cases before the court. Bishop versus the University of Texas, which is an affirmative action case involving admissions, and Friedrichs versus the California Teachers Association, which involves defunding public sector unions. Please share your thoughts on how the Senate should proceed on this matter, understanding the weight of the cases before the court. I'm going to start with Mr. McNichols.
One of the reasons I'm running is when I look at Washington, I think we're closer together than what I see. I see divisiveness, and it just upsets me. So I'm saying.
Try it again.
Test.
Thanks. One of the reasons I'm running for Senate is because when I look at Washington, I see divisiveness, and I think as a people we're closer together than what I see in Washington. So the fact that we're not willing to bring forward or vote on a Supreme Justice nominee does upset me. I think the political process is there. I'm not saying they have to be confirmed, but at least take a vote. Let's listen to the name. Let's vet this person. Let's see who is brought forward, and whether it's a good fit or not is up to that is the Senate's job to do. So I would encourage them to bring forward a nominee, and an up or down vote should be taken.
Justice Scalia was a great man, and to be able to, less than a month ago, to be able to pick a Supreme Court justice is not even, shouldn't even be thought about. I mean, he was probably the best Supreme Court justice that we had in my corner. Now, I'm not saying that the president doesn't have a duty, because he does have a duty, but we as Americans also have a duty. And I don't think it's something that we should jump into and just pick or nominate a Supreme Court justice at this particular time. Now, does it matter if we do it today or we do it 3 months from now? I don't think so. We have many other Supreme Court justices that are sitting on the seat. So I think that we can sit this one back for right now. We can all talk about it. And I think that this is what we need to do. So thank you very much.
I think these two are Republicans, so I'm a Democrat, and I'm going to tell you, I really believe that President Obama should bring someone up and nominate someone, and then let the process do the due process. This is the problem we're having in Washington today, because this group's in control, and this one wants to mess it up. This one's in control, then this one wants to mess it up. It's the same thing back and forth. Until you turn it back over to the people, you're going to get business as usual. And there should be a nominee, and then it should go due process. That's the way it's supposed to be, that's the way it should be, and everybody in this room should want it that way.
Mr. Chafee, just by way of a quick follow-up, would would you agree that this is an important constitutional duty for the Senate to fulfill? If you're fortunate to win your election, or to win a general election and become a member of the Senate, do you think that this is an important constitutional duty to fulfill? To hold a hearing to honor the president's request?
Yes. Yes, it definitely is a very important thing, yes.
So you wouldn't be opposed to the president nominating someone?
Oh, absolutely not. I wouldn't oppose the president nominating someone. I just think with his passing of just, what was it, 3 weeks ago? This passing 3 weeks ago, we were moving too fast. Everything that we've done in the last 7 years has moved too fast. The decisions have been coming down too quick. So we've made a lot of mistakes. And I know I'm not going to get a lot of you to agree that we made these mistakes, but we've made a lot of mistakes. I'm not saying that the Republicans are all right, because I walked in this door and I read some of this information that was sitting in front of me, and we're not too far away. So I think we can get this together, but it's just not something that should be done today.
Fair enough. I want to acknowledge the Speaker of the House, Mr. Bush, just arrived. Any other electors? I have my glasses off, so I can't see you, so don't be shy. Okay, so the next question, we will start off with Mr. Dixon. Ferguson, Baltimore, two recent hotspots in the country lately. This question is really about completing the following phrase, understanding what happened in both those places, both Ferguson and Baltimore. Black Lives Matters means what?
Black Lives Matter means because you're under the radar. You got a scope on your head. Whoever has the scope or the bullet sight on them, you're the ones that matter. As soon as it's pointed, I'm going to say it, as soon as the gun's pointed at you, then your life matters. Right now, Black Lives Matter, but as time changes, it could be Asian Lives Matter, it could be White Lives Matter. It's what's happening today. What's going on today? Not what happened yesterday. We have to fix today so that tomorrow will be just a tad bit better. If you just keep worrying about yesterday, you have to forget about yesterday. When you have cancer and it's over, it's over. Move on. If it comes back, it does. It's the same way with this. The Black Lives Matter is very, very important. I think we need more athletic fields in the city. Tear down some of these houses, use federal government money, and build new athletic fields. That's what I want. These kids need to understand how to respect officers in the household and in the community, so when the time arises, there's no problems.
So understand this question is more than being about police.
Back up off the mic. I'm sorry. Back up.
It's pretty hot, so we turn it down a notch. But understand a question about being more than just policing, but economics. It's about our institutions that fail a lot of these places, Ferguson, whether it's our schools, etc. So that's kind of the purpose behind this question. It's a very broad question to understand. Understand it in the context of how all of our institutions fail, whether we believe policing has been adequate, schools, etc.
Absolutely. And I mean, as a white male and white people in general, I'm not making generalizations here. People look at individuals and you say, okay, I'm in charge of myself. But when you look at Black Lives Matter, you're looking at collectively. It's more than just the individual. It's collective. It's systemic. It's something that goes back hundreds of years. So yes, all lives matter, but Black Lives Matter. So it's definitely just two different perspectives. And I think if we get in a room and we talk about it, then we make progress. And because you can see some people look at the individual, hey, he shouldn't have been robbing this store, robbing that store. But then when you look at it systemically, you see this is hundreds of years of oppression or of injustices. I've been in the mortgage industry for 15 years. It's something I've loved and I've researched. Up until 1968, the FHA practiced redlining, where they wouldn't lend to certain ethnicities or geographic locations because for whatever reason, it wasn't a good credit risk or whatever the reason was. But that has ripples that still can be seen today, and it's something that we need to make sure we're looking at these policies that we're putting in place and make sure we're not having that same impact. We really have to look at these closely and say, what does this look like? What are the unintended consequences? What does this look like 30 years down the road? When you've robbed a certain segment of the population of being able to pass on wealth through real estate or something along those lines. So we definitely have to have that filter when we look at that. And so yeah, Black Lives Matter, all lives matter.
This is a tough one. Because I'm a Catholic, all lives matter. We cannot, I will not separate people. I won't do that. All lives matter. But what it did do is it woke us up. For years and years, these blacks in these poor areas, and you know it, they've been getting beat down and beaten around. Okay, so it woke us up. And if we have to at least out of this take something out of this and build off of it. And if we don't build off of it, then Black lives wouldn't matter. So we have to build off of this, and we have to show the people, the young men that died, that lives did matter. And it matters to me, it matters to my kids, it matters to my family, it matters to my neighbors, it matters to the police officers. Even the police officers that might have did wrong, it matters. So yes, all lives matter. God bless.
So, that question was a little bit descriptive, so maybe be a little bit prescriptive in the sense that, are there specific thoughts you all have about on jobs or education that you might offer as a U.S. Senate? Disparities.
I'm going to sit this one down if you don't mind. On jobs, for the areas that we're talking about, I mean, you know, I've never lived in an area like that. You know, so unless you live in an area like that, you can't even imagine what they're going through. You know, their mothers working 2 or 3 jobs. But the kids that go to school every day to figure their lives aren't worth anything. We have to reach out. We have to work together with businesses and try to get these kids educated. We need to bring companies back from overseas so these kids will have jobs. We have to work on immigration. The immigration problem in the United States is killing the jobs in the inner cities. You know, it used to be where a kid could find a job at McDonald's or Burger King, and that's not even a very good job, but you can't even find those jobs anymore. They're being gobbled up. So I want to train these young men and women in Baltimore or all around the country. And if we train them, we can put them to work. Thank you.
I think we really need to take intentional steps. We really have to be intentional about this. If we want to see, you know, multicultural, multi-ethnic, our country was founded that way. But what we need is integration. We really need integration. And the way you work that is, again, being intentional. And I'm not talking about just assimilation. You know, hey, if you do things our way, we'll be happy. We need accommodation. So there's a huge difference between assimilation and accommodation. So we need to make accommodations so our leadership, or wherever it is, if it's in the boardroom, if it's in, you know, wherever you're working or wherever you're serving, we need to make sure everyone is represented. We want everyone's opinion in that mix. We want to make sure we're considering that. So we're making accommodations to make sure everyone is represented, so everyone's voice is heard.
The question was about jobs. The only way you're going to get jobs in Maryland is start making it advantageous for a business to come here. Everybody I know wants to leave. Everybody I know wants to move to Pennsylvania, move to West Virginia. They want to move out because the taxes are too high. You can't run a business. There's too many. If you run a mechanical contracting business, your competition is people that don't have licenses. Okay? Everybody needs to be licensed. A flag man has to be licensed to work the flag on the street, but yet you can be a stone cutter, like I have a stone shop, you don't need a license. But I got all the other licenses. I'm a master plumber, master HVAC, master gas fitter, MHIC, and I've done built everything. And it's about hiring people. We need to also, we have farms. We have boys and girls in the city that would love to go out to the farmlands. I've been talking to them in the rural areas about getting some boys and girls from the city that in the summertime to come out here and start working, learn how to be a farmer. There's a lot of kids that want to do that. And the other thing I have a great idea for is anybody who works over 40 hours, it's tax-free for the employer and the employee. That's the only way you're going to keep them in competition with people who don't pay taxes.
Are we on time? Okay. So I'm going to pause here on my questions and invite some questions from the audience for our U.S. Senate candidates. I have one in the back. I see Mike Miller and then Alderman Curtin.
So the gentleman in the Senate, I apologize for not knowing your name, but I think you said that Justice Scalia was a great man or a great justice. Can you elaborate what was great about Justice Scalia?
I can probably do it without the mic. Justice Scalia was a conservative. He believed, he stood strong on Christianity. He stood strong on family values. All of those justices, I guess it's scary when you see a judge and you see him put on the road, but they have to do things that some of us might not like. He fought hard. He fought hard for life. And, if anything, I want to fight hard for life myself. And I think if anything that came out of Justice Scalia, I'm here to honor him, to fight for life today.
Isn't Justice Scalia the one who said black people might want to go to less law school because they might not be smart enough?
If Justice Scalia said that, he was wrong.
Did he say it?
I don't know. If Justice Scalia said that, he was wrong.
But if you run for the Senate and you have to have advice and consent on who goes to the Supreme Court, and Justice Scalia is the leading voice for conservatism on the bench, and you don't know about a major pronouncement that he made to the bench 3 months before he died, and then you want to say he was great, how responsible is that of you as someone who wants to be on the Senate?
I did not hear Justice Scalia say that. That's first thing, okay? But if he did say that, I'm telling you right now, he was wrong. But he did have conservative values. He stood strong on Jesus Christ. He was probably the strongest justice for standing for life. And
Let's please show respect, please.
he was probably the strongest justice that stood for life. And what you're saying, if that's true, I'm telling you right now that he was wrong for saying that. Okay, so I will honor him for saying that. But I do not know that he said that, so I will check on that.
But if you don't know that, then why would you have an opinion about whether or not President Barack Obama should do his constitutional duty to appoint a person to the Supreme Court?
Oh, you're exactly right. Probably for the same reason that you're bringing that up, because you can bring somebody up for another justice, and they do. Senate and Congress will do many hearings, but there's always something that will come out later. This is something for a new Supreme Court justice that does not have to be done today. There's not some reason that it has to be done today. Now my question is, why are you trying to push it for today? So why not everybody take a breathing room and let this pass? And then, look, President Obama has, 9 more months of being president? Why don't we give it 3 more months and then we bring it up?
All right. So I know this is going to be a very intense topic for everyone. It's a very important topic, and I understand the line of questioning. I appreciate Mr. Schaefer's patience on the question as well. So thank you.
Thank you.
Alderman Curtin.
Yes, sir. My question is also about the you were making the statement that the president's moving a little fast. My recollection, when I found out Justice Scalia died, that very night, your colleagues in Washington were already talking about not bringing forth the nominee. My question to you is, it's all done and done. Hillary Clinton becomes president of the United States of America.
Okay.
And she appoints President Barack Obama, our law school grad, as a Supreme Court justice. million supporters.
Yes, I would, because I do believe that that's exactly what's going to happen if you really want to know. So I do believe, look, President Barack Obama is a very smart president. And we all know, I mean, he's a smart president, and he knows how to play the game. So I really do believe that if Hillary Clinton became president, that's the direction possibly that Barack Obama would go.
Okay. Let's invite some other questions, preferably not related to the Supreme Court. This lady in front here, please.
I want to thank the Caucus of African American Leaders for having us.
I think they're working on your mic, so you gotta project.
What do you do?
Just
Speak
project.
up.
Speak up.
Okay, hi. I want to thank the Caucus of African American Leaders for having this event today. It really shows you care about the community. Thank you very much. I want to thank the three of you for being here today. You didn't have to do this. Thank you very much too, and all of your work. To knock the clock or kick the kid and say it's all their fault. But this is what I've been noticing. Most people in public service are good people, and then you have the bad ones. There's no buyer's remorse when it comes to politicians. I'll give you an example. Bob McDonald, he should be in jail. He sold out his office. He's still free. Why is he in jail? Because Governor Doug Weiler said, hey, this is my money. We can't be politicians.
What's the question?
There isn't one, but I'm getting one. Let me do my comment. You have to have, anyway, and then you see Rick Snyder, who should be fired instead of resign, and then you see Stephanie Ron's place and all the stuff she's done. So my question is, how are you going to hold your fellow politicians accountable? Whether it's your side or not, if they do wrong, are you going to just let it go? Are you going to fire them? What are you going to do?
The question is about accountability.
Accountability means everybody's accountable. Everybody in this room is accountable for themselves. Everybody in Congress and the Senate is a representative. They represent you. When they don't represent you, when they start representing CPAC, special interests and everything else, they're not representing you. Until you put somebody in that position that's going to fight for you, you're going to get business as usual. Vote for Van Horn. Where is he? He's not here. Van Hollen. Where's Edwards? He's not here. Okay? They're going to do business as usual. These people will be accountable. If I walk in there, they're going to listen to me. You know why? Because I'm big, I'm smart, and I'm not afraid to jump in anybody's face. I know half of the senators and congressmen up there. They used to call me up and ask me my opinion. Then when they got done, can you send me some money? I'm not taking any money. I'm going to show up with all these forms in 24 counties. You want to vote for somebody? You vote for Freddie. He'll make them all accountable because they're going to have to look me in the face. You want to look me in the face? You bore down. They will too. That's the type of person they need to be. As a Democrat.
So Mr. Chafee or Nichols, Mr. Nichols, do either one of you want to respond to that? Quickly.
Hello. Yes, we have to hold them accountable. But we need term limits. We haven't had term limits. We have Congress and Senate that they've been there for forever. Dick Burge, I mean, he was there, he was 97 or something years old. I mean, the good old boy system has to end. We have to do this together, Democrat and Republican. We have to do this together. We have to get it on the ballot. We have to do term limits. If we get term limits, that's the only way you're going to get your answer the way you want it. Because if you don't, they're going to be there and they're just going to pass it on and pass it on and pass it on. It doesn't matter how big and brave you are when you're in Congress or Senate. You know that. It's going to be how can you get them out. Okay, so a lot of these congressmen and congresswomen that have been there, they're not perfect. They're just human. They're
10
just,
seconds, please.
We'll just end it like that. But it was a good question. Thank you.
I think Governor Hogan has a great plan as far as with Change Maryland out there. And in this information age, we just say, hey, this is what I'm running into. Here's what so-and-so, here's how so-and-so is voting. Here's my challenges. I want to represent you here are the speed bumps we're running into. So I think sharing that information, making it public knowledge, and just speaking to your constituents is the best way to hold people accountable.
All right, thank you. Other questions from the audience, please? I think Dawn in the back, this gentleman here, and then right here. So those will be the 3 final questions. Quickly, please.
One of the comments made was that President Barack Obama is one of the most intelligent men you know, he's in the game. But one of the signature bills of the Affordable Care Act, also known as the Obamacare system. So one of the big fears, especially among minority and poor communities, is that the next president will try and scrap it and fund it, etc. I'd like your stance on it.
Each of you take about 20 seconds to respond to that.
The bottom line, we can't let people die in the streets. The system that's in place
Please be
now.
respectful, please.
The system that's in place now is not working. I mean, you have a lot of government sponsored healthcare as far as Medicare, Medicaid, VA, expansion of Medicaid, and the government's already involved in supporting healthcare. And I think we need to take a close look at how these insurance companies are billing, how they're competing for business. 20 seconds is tough. I definitely go to Mark 4 MD. It's number 4 MARK, number 4 MD. I have a lengthy explanation of how I would handle that. Great question. I'm saying all the time.
It was a good question. The Affordable Care Act's broken. It doesn't work. It is not affordable. It's costing people too much money. It's killing Medicaid. If we have to look across state lines, we have to figure out another way. I'm not saying completely get rid of the Affordable Care Act from day one, but if we're going to have to come up with another system, it's going to implode itself. There's not enough money to run the Affordable Care Act.
Thank you.
Again, I had stage 4 cancer, so as a small businessman, I would not have insurance. So it is, my wife has a great plan, so I want it, but if I was running my business still, I would have, and national health care wasn't there, we would have a problem. So the basic structure is good. We just need to go down line by line by line and just get rid of some of the stuff that's not necessary. We need national health care. It's going to stay there. The format and form box is great. It's the contents that just need to be looked at, modified, and reviewed.
All right. Very quickly, this gentleman here in the middle.
Yeah, thanks.
Very quickly, please.
Yeah, all 3 of you mentioned how dysfunctional Washington is. Okay, so my question is, what in your experience, right, would give us confidence that you can negotiate diametrically opposed positions and come to some solutions? With all due respect, Mr. Dixon, I don't think being bombastic and being in the face is the right approach. So the question becomes, other than marriage, which is a constant negotiation for everybody, what is it in your history that would allow us to think that you can sit down and have some very meaningful conversations with people that may have differences of opinion?
Absolutely. That was just to give a point.
30 seconds.
The biggest thing is that if I know people on both sides, it's because I've been on both sides. Most of these guys have never been a Democrat, okay? I have been, and I'm back, okay? And I know both sides, I know them very well. I can go in there and represent you and walk into everybody's office there, and somebody's going to remember me at some point in time throughout the past 30 years, okay? Because most of them's been there 30 years. So yes, and I have a lot of passion, I have a lot of love, and I walked through the valley of the shadow of death, and I didn't like what was in it. And I came out to help people. And that's what I don't see color here, I see people. Let me tell you something else. Your tears taste the same as mine. Salt. Okay? And my love and passion is built inside, and I'll express it. And I want to help, but I can only help with you.
Thank you. Mr. Chafee.
I guess the question was what experience you have to try to get this done. I've been a builder and a land developer most of my life. I've worked with my wife, Amy, which is over here to the right. It's been a tough road for the last 7 years if you're a builder and developer. But you still have to negotiate with banks. You still have to negotiate with your buyers. You still have to negotiate with your sellers. That doesn't mean that you can go to Washington, D.C. and do the same thing. You know, these guys, they're a bunch of tough cookies. But you're going to have to start. If we don't start right now, it's going to be the same in 4 years, 6 years, 8 years. It's going to be the same. So we have to give it a try. We have to try to go up to Washington, D.C., and we have to try to negotiate with both sides, Democrat and Republican, and independent, because there's some independents up there too. And we have to work with the president. We can't keep fighting the president on everything he is. It doesn't matter if it's Barack Obama, Hillary Clinton, unfortunately, Donald Trump. We have to work together.
Thank you.
It's the only way we can get it done.
Thank you.
Yeah, I work in real estate as well, doing mortgage loans, and for all walks of life, you get to meet all kinds of different people, and you're definitely doing negotiations, and you really have to start with where's your common ground. So we disagree here. Let's take the lens back a little bit. Where do we agree? You know, I think as you get further back, we all lumber country, and then we can start from that ground. We have common ground, and let's say, where do we want to be? We usually want to be somewhere further along the road, okay? And then we can negotiate those points in between. Any reasonable person in Washington or in business throughout my day will listen to that when you start reasonable. When you're reasonable, you start from a place where, hey, we agree here, we agree we want to end here. Let's work all in the middle together. And I think if you're working together, shoulder to shoulder, and you're not belly to belly, chest to chest, then I think nose to nose, I think you're gonna have more success working that way.
Thank you so much. I promise this gentleman a question, to ask his question. Very quickly and very succinct, please.
Yeah, I need some time to prepare the question. First of all, you talked about government. I think most of us have had experience in government and how it works and how it doesn't. One of the things that I haven't heard is how you intend to reform government. If I may read this question, because this is an example of government not working for us, we're paying for it.
Very quickly.
Quote, the Equal Employment Opportunity Commission is a federally funded lead agency charged with the responsibility of addressing discrimination and racism violations in employment in America. Recently, we were made aware of the agency's E-Race program. Its acronym stands for Eradicating Racism and Colorism from Employment. It's a 5-year, 5-point goal and plan. It was intended to, among other things, engage the public employers and stakeholders. That's a few of the things. But to date, the EOC has failed in its efforts to achieve these goals, despite the continuation of annual funding of that.
I need your question, please.
If elected, what measures would you take to improve the quality of service delivery by this or any other agency, given the gross failures of the agencies to carry out their mandates? With this one specifically, the 5-year plan to the 5.5-year plan.
How do you fix the EEOC to be more responsive?
Yeah, I mean, eventually,
30 seconds.
this is going to be something that's, I don't want it to wait 5 years. I think we need to fix it right away. Right now, 1 in 2 children under the age of 5 are minorities. By 2018, 1 in 2 people under the age of 18 are going to be minorities. 2042, 1 in 2 people are going to be non-white. So if you're operating a business and you're not soliciting the help or the counsel and promoting the values of multi-ethnic people, then you're running a poor business and you're not going to be around very long. But again, I don't want to wait 5 years to do that. So I think we just need to speak loud and say this is what a successful company does. And once more and more companies see that's what's successful, there'll be copycats, and that I think that will help solve some of the issues we see.
Thank you.
Yeah, I don't think we can wait 5 years. I have 4 daughters, so they are also considered a minority. I don't look at people differently, and I hope that we've come far enough that we don't do that anymore. So I think we need to address this right now. If it's as bad as what you're saying, we need to address this right now. Jobs are a problem in America right now, so I think we need to kind of look past what you're asking right now, and we need to say, how are we going to fix the jobs? How are we going to make jobs available in Maryland? How are we going to make jobs available in the United States so there's jobs for these young men and women? How are we going to make jobs? Forget the young men and women. How many people do you know that's 50 or 60 years old that's looking for jobs? They've been put out. You know how many people right now are out looking for jobs? 80 million people right now are out of jobs right now. 80 million.
Thank you.
It's a bad situation.
I agree, 5 years is too long. But what we need to do is bring vocational training back to the high schools again. We took it all out, okay? But these boys and girls need to learn mechanics, plumbing, heating, air conditioning. Do you know by 2020 all the Freon R12 has to be removed? Every restaurant, nightclub, anything that business has R12, it has to come out. Who's going to put it in? These people have to be licensed, trained. Our boys and girls don't all have to be computer technicians. They can go to school and learn to be a mechanical trade or a service. There's only 3 things you can do in the world: manufacture a product, sell a product, or service a product and sell a service. That's it. There's only 3 things you can do. So we need to train our boys and girls and get them in the early ages and let them figure out what they might want to do, which would possibly be work with their hands like I do. And that's what we do.
Thank you so much. We're going to now move to closing statements. Each gentleman will have 1 minute each to make their closing statement.
Well, thank you again for the opportunity to be here. This election has certainly been a different one, just watching it from the presidential stance. I do like the fact that we're talking about issues that such as immigration that impact our nation, and look forward to a big turnout in this primary. And the bottom line, if you want something different, do something different. And that's why I'm running. I said, I don't see what I want. So I'm not just going to take the next best option. I'm going to go and do something different. So I encourage you all to do something different. And again, it's Mark 4 MD, the number 4 MARK, the number 4 MD. And again, I think if you look at my views, you'll find out that we're closer together than it looks in Washington.
Thank you so much.
And thank you very much for inviting me. I've never been to a Democrat event. First thing, one that has delicious chicken. I mean, excellent. And please invite me back. Listen, our country is a great country. It's made exceptionalists. It's made from entrepreneurs. There's just so much you can do in this country. Everybody should have an equal opportunity in this country. So it shouldn't be based on, any color or anything like that. I wouldn't be up here. I ran against Steny Hoyer in the last election. And the first time I met Steny Hoyer, which I met him before many times down in Caucus County, but the first time I met him, I went up there and I shook Steny Hoyer's hand and I said, "Hey, Steny, it was good to meet you again." And you know what? From that day on, I knew that Steny was just a person. He was just like the rest of us. So I know we all have the same wants at the end of the day. So I think, we can all come up with some type of system that's going to work for everybody. And again, thank you very much for inviting me.
Thank you.
I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for allowing us to come here tonight. I'm the only Democrat. That shows you something. I care. Okay? I'm not taking any money from anybody. And I'm not spending any more than a couple $1,000s, maybe even less. It depends on what wife lets me spend. But I'm going to all 24 counties, and I want to talk to you. Because let me tell you something. You said, how can we make a difference as a Maryland senator? If I walk into that Senate, everybody's quiet as a church mouse, and I didn't take any money or spend any money. It's not what you know, it's not who you know, it's who the hell knows you. If I could walk in there without spending a penny or taking any, you think those men would stand up and women and clap and say, "Congratulations, you're the first one that made it through this door that didn't take anything." And that means I only have one group of people. It's you. So when you vote Democrat and you see Freddie Donald Dixon and then the second line junior on the first one out of 10, these are Republicans, you won't even see them. Hit Freddie. Tell all your friends to vote for Freddie. Because you know why? I want to throw it in anyway. I played football at 53 years old with 48 African Americans, and they were all my brothers and sisters. And we're both brothers and sisters from the same father. And that's the way it's always been, and that's the way it always will be.
All right. Let me just add that Mr. McNichols, Chafee, and Dixon were some of the first people to reply back to our invitation for this, the very first people. So I appreciate them showing up tonight.
You should know that this is a bipartisan crowd. There are some Republicans in the audience, I assure you. But our hearty thanks for participating in this forum. I know we're kind of condensed in terms of our time, but I think everyone here appreciates the frank conversation and discussion. And obviously, people are free to ask questions of these gentlemen. I want to acknowledge one candidate who didn't make the deadline in time. If he wants to stand up quickly, say his name, and maybe just a very 1 minute, literally.
30 seconds.
1 minute.
My name is Richard Douglas. I missed the deadline. Crime doesn't pay, so I'm not sitting up here. But I am a Republican. I am on the primary ballot. I'm an Iraq veteran. I served in the Navy, also with submarines. This is my second run in 2012. I ran in the U.S. Senate primary. I won Baltimore City and 11 counties. I worked in the U.S. Senate. I was chief counsel of the Senate Foreign Relations Committee for 3 years, and 2 at the Senate Intelligence Committee as general counsel. I know a lot about national security, but what I want to know about more is when people are losing their homes on courthouse steps in Prince George's County or Baltimore City, they're not thinking about ISIS. They're not thinking about Iran. I'm thinking about water bills. And I don't want to talk about things like that, things that matter to people in daily life. So my name is Richard Douglas. I'm really happy to be here. I'm sorry I missed the deadline, and I'm grateful to you for letting me introduce me. Thank you.
Thank you so much. So gentlemen, again, thank you for your time, and I'm sure people in the back have questions for you. At this time, Mr. Snow.
Let me ask the candidates for the House of Delegates, please, the Congress, please come forward. 4th congressional candidate.
4th congressional candidate, step forward.
And the word is quick. As they can get in place, let's give the Senate candidates a round of applause.